Hi, this is Bernadette, and I'm trying to draw another picture, if I may. Um, of course, there's a lot going on in the world, as we know, and I didn't mention the guy's name. Um, I guess, when I think about stuff too fast or think about things, instantly forget. And names are the worst for me. Names are the worst. And I kept hearing his name when I go look at television. He's the big topic. The march was the big topic for him, and it you know it's horrible what what went on, how it happened, you know. And I did say my opinion, because I always had an opinion. And when you have an opinion that doesn't agree with everybody else, people get sour and they say that's not it. Some people might react to it harsh. Some people might think about it and then say something, and it may not be agreeable to you, but this is my opinion. And when I'm in a large group of people, it's hard for me to express myself, to say my opinion about this, because it might just be different from everyone else's. And I tell my boys that, my little girl, just if you don't understand something, just raise your hand. And it's hard because you have so many opinions. You have a lot of people having opinions. Some, of course, the natural is the people who tend to like one another will maybe agree with both, agree with each other. And you have those people that may, they just have their own thing, and it may be the craziest thing, ever. Or maybe someone has a similar opinion, and then, of course, unless someone asks me and pulls me out and asks me, what do you think about this? I'm pretty much zipped. Well, I use this platform, if you will. This is a platform, YouTube is a platform. Facebook is a platform. Any kind of stream that you can get out there, even if you go outside and you wear blinking lights, that's a platform. I say blinking lights because people tend to pay attention to those things. And unless you're on a stage somewhere, and that's a platform, of course, naturally it's a platform. So this is my platform, and I want to also, if someone's interested, then and they like to draw, want to draw, and know how to draw, or something like that, they can draw, because I'll kind of like to show them how I do it. Now, if you go to a specialist, and sometimes if you go to a specialist to draw, then they'll start off really, 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 really small. And some of them start off really big for whatever reason, maybe just to say, I can do this and you can't. I don't know. But I always feel that way when people do that. It's like, I can do this and you can't, whatever, But, if you're interested in that, then that's wonderful. If you even interested in anything at all, because I deal with kids. I dealt with kids with my little ones. And it was difficult, and it's still difficult sometimes. They have things on their minds, and they just don't want to share with you. They're older, they don't want to really share those things. You can just go and they're mad, or they don't react the same when they're as they did when they were younger. But when when some grown person is mad, they get away from you. They just don't want nothing to do with you. And with kids, it's just hard because they have this. They're still going through the growth process. The hormonal stage has not yet, affect them. It has not yet gone to them. Shush. The hormonal stage has not yet, came to them at that point where they can just, you know, um, be who they are or come about who they are. Because this is all strange. This is all strange. I mean, and for young people, it is difficult. I was dealing with a little person, a little girl, and I try to bring her. When you're dealing with any kids, you're gonna get that difficult person, and she wanted to be difficult, and phones, and it was about a phone, and she didn't like me taking away her phone or avoiding the phone. Yeah, and I'm gonna tell you that's a big temptation. That phone, the phone is a big temptation to every kid. Once you start saying, I'm gonna take away the phone, that is like, what? Wait a minute. And and they instantly claim that's phone. They instantly claim this. They'll probably even go as far as to strike for their phone. Because this is like the greatest gift. Having a phone and communicating to the outside world is the greatest. And taking pictures and doing goofy stuff on the phone and looking at goofy videos and chatting with friends. You can do almost anything on the phone. You can even videotape yourself on the phone, which I'm doing on my phone. But you can do all kind of stuff. It's like whoever invented this phone to do everything, it's a competition because people try to do everything to try to revise the phone, to make the phone better and see better and you can hear it better and you can put more stuff on it. Greater memory is a big thing, having this big size memory, and everybody wants that. Just have as much memory as possible to put into that phone device. It's a big thing. So it when you got that lion, and here you have the child, because that's a lion, and it's hard. I mean, even with my kids, it's just like the phone was the biggest thing, and it still is. When to young people, even to older people, the adults. I mean, my phone. I mean, having a phone's great. Just you. The first thing you ask is like, "Where's my phone?" When you put it down, you're looking all over. You got to call yourself, and you're crazed with this thing. It's a great tool. It can be a great tool, and also it can be a great distraction. It can be, it's hard to put down. It's hard to put down. Once you got it, you have reached Giovanna. You're like, wow, I got this gift, and nothing else seems to matter. So it is a lion. And that's not what I want to talk about. I just had to express that out. It's just great. Uh, it's just what happened to me today. It's just, and my kids, even my kids' response, her reaction was whatever, and I don't care, or okay. And this is like disrespectful. I told her it's disrespectful because, uh, if with young people, if a young person gets offended by another young person, it's a great crush on them. it's like, what? It's, they're very hurt because it's a young person, another young person that they admire, that they care about, that they love, and that they thought that, this is a friendship. But whenever it's an older person that's telling them something, it's no big deal because they don't see the connection. They don't see the connection. All I have to do is what I'm supposed to do with this person. I have no, real connection with this person. This person is, I can get by this person. I'm supposed to obey this person. I'm supposed to listen to this person. But that's my only connection. And if I don't like what this person is saying, then, I cop an attitude. Well, every little girl is, sweet to me. I look at little girls and I look at boys are sweet. They're sweet. But, it's just a tug of war sometimes. It's just a tug of war. And, they want to do this, they want to go left, and you want them to go right. Sometimes you have those. And when you think you have everything kind of the way you want it, things change. And we always have to be suspecting for change to change. And things do change. We don't like change. I don't know about you, but I don't like change. So I made this character yesterday, and it was late. But I have to apologize because they were saying that me with news. I see news, and like I said, I forget names. I forget names in a minute. Somebody asked me this. I wasn't even expecting it. Okay, I was on the phone with this lady, and she was asking this. She asked me about a phone number. Who remembers her phone number? I don't remember my phone number. I forget my phone number sometimes. I'm like, wait a minute. And then I got the phone number because I was expecting, the phone number. She was going to ask about the phone number. And then she asked me about my address. She says, what's your address? I'm like, good night. What is my address? Seriously, I was like totally, it blinked out. And I was trying, I said, yeah, address. Okay, yeah, address. And then I had to rush and give it to someone, and they told me, they said the address, My son, that's someone, my husband, But, it's just, I couldn't remember. The address. I was like, okay, I wasn't expecting that. And that's how, seriously. If I'm not expecting something, and sometimes I do expect, because I expect things. Like I expect someone not to agree with me 100% or not to get what I'm saying. I expect that, but it's still there. It's still there with me. I mean, I still have those opinions. It doesn't change just because that person doesn't like what I said. Well, who likes what anybody says? Unless you click with them, that's a different story. But I forgot, and of course he's all over the news, and the unfortunately what happened, and I heard someone say, and I kept hearing them say Florette, and I said, Florette? Is that his name? George Floret? And I heard some news person said that on the news. And I said, okay, well, that's it. I said, okay. And it spells like Floyd. And I said, why would they say he's Floret? Who said that? And then, of course, I said, you know what? It's not Floret. Who said Floret? And I know I heard, when I went down there, they were saying Floret, His last name is like, somebody who says, you ever, keeping appearance. The lady on channel, it plays on 8, and it's funny. It's just a funny comedy. And her name is, they pronounce her last name. It says, okay, Mrs. Bucket. And she says, no, that's not her last name. It's spooky. So it's like, so I'm like, are they changing Floyd to Florette? But anyway, it's George Floyd, and I'm just terrible because if I stumble over a name, and I do stumble over several names. You know, I call one of my kids by, you know, they're grown now, but yeah, I call one. I said I want this one, and then I call his name, and then, you know, that's not even him. But I've been doing that, and and it's crazy. I mean, come on, some parents can do the same. You know, they do. They call by one child by one name, and of course, that's not the other child's name. And that person comes and says, no, no, not you. It's the other one. But you know, you go through those, and I don't know if it's a memory thing or before I stumble and get all in yabble dabble. When I go and I'm in the kitchen and I say I'm gonna go in the room and get this particular item. I go in the room all the way and make it all the way to which is not very far from the kitchen. And as soon as I get inside the room, I look and said, what did I come in this room for? I do it all the time. And then I have to go back out and say, what did I come in this room for? And sometimes it hits me right when I'm close by the kitchen. Oh, that's why I came. This when I have to keep saying it before, and then I say, oh, okay, I got this. Why does this always happen? But I know it always happens, and I continue to do it. I continue to forget every time. I forget. Oh, go back to that. Go back inside the kitchen and remember what it was I was supposed to go in the room for. So, you know, those things. I don't know if maybe there's a pill there. I don't know. Pill. There's maybe some kind of pill there to help. But anyway, I'm going to draw another picture, and I'm going to talk while I draw another picture. Of course, you prefer me just to draw a picture and not talk at all. But I'm just going to express my opinions about things, whether it matters or not. But like I said, you know, everybody has an opinion. Everyone has one. And it may not be agreeable to everyone. You know, this is the way you see it. And you may be totally wrong. You may be totally wrong. But all opinions won't be the same. Yeah, you know, it won't be the same. You know, some people understand a different way, you know. So, again, that's my opinion, you know. That you can't strike someone for opinions. It's their thought, freedom of speech. But, you know, unless you're the president, everything he says is like criminating. Criminal, you're wrong, you're wrong. He coughs. It's a big story. But, you know, you don't want to be that critical with everything. And, you know, of course, I'm not going to even speak on the president because, you know, it's all about, you know, it's a lot of ignorant stuff there. It's a lot of ignorant stuff. And I don't like to fall on the ignorant stuff, you know, on the news and opinions, because everybody has one. Everybody has one. And even on this, they have one, you know, on the on Floyd, on Floyd. Says almost said it again, Floyd. Even on him, people have not this Floyd, but the you know, they have an opinion on him, you know, and I've heard a lot of stuff. You know, I don't know where I can't. If people hear this and they get mad because I heard it. It was on news, not new. Well, you can't believe everything that you listen to on the internet, because the internet says a bunch of stuff, and it has people with a different opinion. And it might be a racist opinion guy who said that. Yeah, I'm gonna spread all kind of rumors and get all his buddies, and they spread all kind of rumors and say something about this guy. You know. Come on. And we can look at it as it is, and because he's not the only case. He is not the only case that's been out there. um, we like to believe that this is he was the first, not the first. Now, you didn't want this to happen at all, but that this case it marks something that I've had enough. This is enough. Enough is enough. You need to do something about these police. You need to do something about those police. And this guy that done this, he knew George Floyd. He knew him at one time, and which it was strange, because if he knew him, or even knew of him, or even said hello to him when he knew him, or whatever, it it should be some kind of coil there. It should be a meeting of the minds. It should be, well, you don't immediately go to this guy, and I don't believe that's what happened. That these 4 police officers, or maybe start off with 2, or maybe start off with 1, came to him and said, I'm just going to attack you. I'm going to need some support so I can pin this guy down. That would be cruel. That'd be scary. Some police officer, you're sitting there and somebody accused you of something, and then the police officer comes to you and starts trying to pin you down. And what are you gonna do when he tries to pin you down? You're gonna get scared first of all. You don't know why this police officer's pinning you down. You don't know what's going on. So if they're successful in pinning you down, keeping you, you're gonna fight, because you don't understand why this person is pinning you down. But I can look at it that way, that that this police officer went to George Floyd and just immediately pinned him down. And then I don't know. That sounds crazy, right? That sounds like, well, why would he even do that? What police officers? What training? What kind of did it have a new training force? You just go to the person. If he's being accused of something, just go there and try to pin him down. That'd be weird, right? But I can't see it that's what happened. Of course, they didn't say how they approached George Floyd. They didn't say. Of course, they had to be approached. He had to be at one time approached, because that's usually how a police officer does things, right? They don't just go and attack. They don't go and attack someone. But we have in society, we have such a disrespect. We do. We have such a disrespect of our law enforcement. We do. We have so much disrespect for them. It's like, I don't know, when they come up, and some people have an attitude to, why you coming over here? Is there should be a respect, because he holds an office. His office, and his office is to protect. When usually in the past it was with every kid wanted to be a police officer. Every kid wanted to have that position where they can help. And that was great. And that was a delight when they get a police officer, or a fireman, or what else? The soldiers. Those are exciting to children, And they didn't know necessarily what the details of the job entail. They didn't know that they had to apprehend someone, and they had to use whatever they needed to apprehend this person, because people will resist. Especially I will kind of resist if somebody just came at me and try to pin me down for whatever reason, and he's a police officer. What are you doing? But I gotta figure that that's not what happened. That would be criminal, I would think. Somebody's like, it could be a mugger pinning you down. Not a police. I'm a police officer. I'm gonna pin you down. I don't think they went up to him like that. Well, but like I said, it is a disrespect to now, and even more so since many of these things happen, and it's happened before. Floyd, George Floyd was not the first. We hope he can be the last. We hope that this thing shouldn't have happened in the first place, because I was, like I said, on the web, they said that this police officer, this one wasn't his first offense on someone like that. Not particularly choking and having his knee on someone's neck, but it was where he take a person and he used some kind of force on them, and so it wasn't his first offense. And of course, I'm sure those people had problems, and they said, I don't like this police officer on me, and they allow criminals to even do that. If you're stopped and you're reported, if you did anything wrong, a police officer immediately looks at you, not as someone who doesn't understand or doesn't, fully understand. He looks at you immediately as a criminal. He does. So you've already made a judgment on you, and especially if you're a young person, you've already made a judgment on you that you're a criminal. And sometimes kids do crazy stuff, and and if a police officer involved, he looks at you as a criminal. It will looks at you as a criminal. And I told my kids that, if you don't listen to me, God's going to send what? He's going to send that. And that's not what I'm saying what happened here with George Floyd. So I don't want to say, oh, that's what you're like. No, I'm not saying that. But I told my kids that, because it says if you turn over to the courts, they're not going to look at you and say, oh, I love you so much and I care. No, they're not going to do that. Immediately, you are a criminal, and they don't really care. That's the whole just, that you need to be upstanding, okay? And then what else I heard? They didn't do anything about him, before from his past offenses. But they were saying that what I heard is that George Floyd went somewhere, I guess, and into a store, and he gave the lady a 20, and the 20 was not really a 20. It's like a counterfeit 20. And you like a counterfeit 20. And of course, the lady's reaction isn't to call her boss and say, hey, you know what, this guy gave me a counterfeit 20. And immediately they look at you. Of course, he's a black man, not a white guy, not a Spanish guy, not a Chinese guy, or any kind of other nationality. He was just black. And this counterfeit 20, I don't know if she sent it. She even let her boss see it. Or maybe, let's say she did. And her boss looks at him and says, he's going to be a problem. Because he's a big guy, He's not a small built guy. And we're going to need the police officer to handle this. Or she could have just taken it upon herself and said, I'm not standing up to that guy. What if he hits me? Because immediately you think, he's black. And from many past reports we had on this. Blacks supposed to be violent. They're supposed to be unreasonable. They're supposed to be, yeah. You have to talk to them in what's that dialect they was using? Oh my goodness, that's the most horrible, ignorant dialect. But maybe you like that dialect. Maybe you like that yo and all that stuff. I don't like it. That's me. I mean, because when you're talking to another person in a business sense, because you always think higher. You're not going to say slangs. But anyway, they looked at a black person in a different sense, like he's almost half animal or something. I don't know. But before, to tell you the truth, when they first encountered, when the white men first encountered the black, but of course they were doing business with blacks a lot. They were doing business with black people a lot when they went to Africa. They did business before, but then they started stealing, just being conniving and stealing. But that's the story that makes sense. But today, since with all the violence that has happened, even in the march, there were violence. There were burning cars. There were smashings of buildings and windows, and cars have been vandalized and all kinds of stuff, And I know this wasn't a part of the family. The family did not portray this violence. Only one that portrayed this violence is you have a lot of people that have bent up anger, and you have a lot of malicious groups like Antifa and all those groups. Even some people in legitimate groups, they act militant, like you can't do that here. I'm like, no. I mean, their cause for marching may be something totally different. It's, side support, I'm gonna get even, but it puts a stain on what's already a stain on black people. It doesn't help black people. It puts a stain on black people that you can't talk to that woman because she's gonna get aggressive. You can't ask a nice question to that person. She's going to get aggressive because she's black. Or he's going to get aggressive because he's black. And even so, you go up to, I don't know if I mentioned to you, I go up to a black police officer because he looks kind of nice. He looks like a nice guy. And I was just asking a question. It was actually, somebody left something in the yard, and it was a recent, some 3 dudes. And they caught one, and something fell out of his pocket, a phone and some cigarettes or something like that. So I didn't know what to do with those items because I was just happened to be out in the yard, not that day when it happened, but the next day. And I was like, what is this? I heard something ringing. I know I didn't have a phone at that time. So I guess the guy had a phone. I said, well, look at you. He's a young person. And I said, he has a phone. Of course, I was older lady. I never had a phone. So when I saw that on the ground, and I saw the cigarettes and everything, I said, this is, and it kept ringing, and I didn't answer it. And let's face it, I didn't know how to answer it. Okay. But anyway, I didn't know what to do with the items. So the police station is right down the street from me, and I just went there, and I, talked to whoever I could before entering the building. So I see a nice young guy, a police officer, and I go up to him and, just say, because I don't know, okay? You might think it's silly. Hey, dummy, Nelly, just throw it away, Of course, I'm thankful I didn't come to you. But I would have had the same sort of, he had that reaction like, I'm supposed to know what to do with it because, common sense, I guess, huh? The whole process of the boy being pinned down by the police and sent to the car was like what's going on, Not that he was like, the guy didn't pin him down like what happened to George Floyd, but, he just took the young guy, the young guy was struggling because he didn't want to get caught, and he kept struggling, and another police officer had to, hold his hand behind and then until they got the handcuffs on, and then they took him to the car. Why do you resist arrest? You got caught. Okay, don't resist. At that point, if I knew I did something wrong, I shouldn't have done it. That's real fear. I just want to point that real fear, because people get the wrong message on fear. Real fear is that you don't do this. Because I'm afraid if I do this, this is what's going to happen. That's real fear. Not that I do it and then I get caught and then I have fear. Real fear is the before. You don't do it. But anyway, I went to him and I told him, I said, what do I do with, this guy? And I told him the whole story. And he's looking at me like I'm crazy. And I had my baby in my hand. I did. I forgot to tell you that. I had my baby in my hand because I had some little ones. And he was like laughing at me almost like, you stupid or whatever, and I was not expecting it at all. I was expecting, well, ma'am, what you normally do, isn't that a nicer response? What you normally do is do this, There was no handbook to say if this happened, then, you throw it away. But anyway, through the whole approach to someone that you're arresting, there will be, you have to think there is, for that young boy that was on the ground that they had to wrestle, and he was wiggling and all that stuff, they had to get another officer there just so they can handcuff them. Because the little dude just didn't, I wouldn't say he's a little dude, he's a kid, okay? He's like a tall teenager, he didn't want to be caught. He didn't want to one got away though. It was 3 guys and 1 got away. And 2 girls. So they got in the other guy, he got in there, and the other guy jumped the fence on the other side and he got away. He was a bigger dude. He was a bigger dude, someone said. Because they saw him jump their fence when he went over their fence. And you know how the fences are. The fences are higher than you, But that dude, apparently, I don't know, he jumped the fence. And all they could see him, but that guy that they caught in my yard, he jumped the fence because he's a pretty tall boy, and he got out of the gate. And once he got out of the gate, the police officers caught him, caught him. And, but as back to George Floyd, I don't know what transpired before because no one has a picture. Notice how they don't have a picture from the beginning, So you make judgment. So, you make judgment, you presuppose or whatever.